welcome back to your season 3
finale. Oh my god, my voice, like my throat just closed on me.
You're just too excited.
I'm just so excited, guys.
I can't believe it.
And we say that I feel like we say that every season closer. We're like, oh, God, here we are. I just can't.
Well, truly, because like this was like such a like fetus of an idea, like less than a year ago, and now
honestly though, it still is like, okay, I feel like we're like a toddler now. Like we were a fetus, and then we were a newborn, and like now I feel like we're in the toddler phase.
I feel like a toddler. Absolutely.
I do. I actually, that like really resonates with me. I feel like this show is in like the toddler phase of its life.
But hear me out. I'm ready to be 5 or 6. What is that stage of life called?
It's called adolescence is like preteens.
Yeah.
But what is like 7 to 9? Because I feel like those
annoying.
are like
that's what that's called.
The golden years.
Golden years.
I feel like that's
every 7-year-old I meet.
No, me too. But I feel like we are most ourselves when like our 8-year-old self. I feel like that is like the most you.
And that's
we actually talked about that. Anyways, guys, what is up? Happy motherfucking Monday. We are back at it for season 3 finale. Thank you for riding along with us, brothers. We love our little gang and your support. And yeah, here we are. I can't believe it.
We're doing the damn thing, y'all.
Yeah, and this episode we decided to dedicate to kind of just the show. It's just me and Jess. Just me and Jess. We haven't done an episode just the two of us in a hot minute.
Yeah.
It's also been like
guys, let us know how you feel about, and like we're obviously between every season we take a break to recuperate, to reflect, to see where we're at. Let us know what you guys are digging, what you guys aren't, if you guys want to see more guests, what kind of guests, topics. If you guys want just more me and Liv, let us know. We are always open to your guys' suggestions and
advice. We love hearing feedback from you guys. We're gonna get all into it. Like, this episode is dedicated pretty much to showing you guys just kind of behind the scenes of this show, because I know it seems like for those of you who come back every week and listen, it seems like, you know, we're just like pulling it out of our ass, and I can see how that looks like that, but there's actually a lot that goes on behind the scenes and has since day one. And of
also what's just like led up to the conception of Whiskey and Water. And like just like what we've learned throughout this time, through our short toddler time.
Yes. Exactly. I actually love that, because that like helps me make sense of it, because I'm like, you know, it's hard to look back and be like, oh, we did this and that, when I feel like our story is like just beginning still. So I feel like the toddler phase is really, that just hits it on the nail.
It makes me feel good about not knowing what the fuck I'm doing. Guys, we still have this episode is basically just gonna let you guys know that we have no fucking clue what we're doing.
Also, if you guys aren't subscribed already, we like never say this, but we should. Make sure you're subscribed to us on whatever listening platform or watching platform you're on, YouTube, Spotify, or Apple Podcasts. Make sure you hit that subscribe button if you enjoy our show.
We would heavily appreciate it.
Yes, highly. And then for those of you who like don't really know our story, you know, a lot of people find us from some of the guests we have on and don't know how Jess and I even became friends, or why the show is called Whiskey and Water,
or
and
if we're gonna get really friends.
Yeah, or if we're like not even, this is all just a front. Actually, we're just co-hosts of a podcast together.
Yeah, don't even Olivia Pascal, never heard of her. Don't know. Who's
she? But yeah, we're getting all into it today, so it'll be a grand old time.
Strap in, ladies and gents.
And even like ride. And even some people might not know why the show is called Whiskey and Water, so we're gonna get into that to give you guys a little reminder. But before we dive into things, we got a little ketchup, squirt.
Ew, God, please never do that again.
Yeah, remind me to never do that again. But every time I say ketchup, I literally just imagine 2 bottles of ketchup like squirting. So
I just don't know how I feel like using the word squirt in any context, really.
Squirt reminds me of like a squid.
Vaginal.
Oh, or that.
Oh,
True.
I'm thinking straight sexually.
Have you squirted? This is what the fuck is this?
Tea time?
Tea time! A little fun tea time question in here.
Have you?
Okay, there's one time I think I might have, but I'm curious. Is squirting just peeing?
No, it's not.
Oh, I think I peed.
Oh my god. When? How long ago was this?
This was a long time ago. Like when Tyler and I used to fuck like rabbits. Like we're old and married now, and that doesn't happen. So back in the day when like we were teenagers and had the energy and stamina, yeah, it was back then.
back in the good old days.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I peed. So
undecided. We'll table that for now.
Season 4, guys, we're gonna talk about sex a little more because we feel like we've been missing out on that aspect a little. Kind of just like, I don't know, we've shied away from the subject, but I think season 4 is the time. I think we've matured enough.
Mama ain't no virgin, you know what I'm saying?
Okay, give me your ketchup, biatch.
Oh, okay. So nothing really. My life's pretty uneventful at the moment.
Wow.
I went slacklining this past week.
Fun. Love that for you.
Yeah, and if you guys don't know what slacklining is, it's basically just kind of like tightrope walking, like you do it between two trees and shit. So that's kind of like something that I've decided that I'm gonna put a little bit more time into. I bought my own slackline, so I know how to set it up and everything. And
she adventurous.
So I've been doing that. By the time this comes out, Juan will.
Oh, she just named. All right, brothers. She name dropped.
I name dropped.
It was your friend. Then he was your boo. Then he was the boyfriend. And now he is Juan.
Oh, wow. Just really exposing myself out here.
Whoops. It's okay. It's okay. Let the brothers
honestly,
know.
though, really quick, we do need to talk about, like, I think we have talked about this a little bit, but like tagging your significant other and stuff, because it's like, I want to tag him, but I also don't want like nosy ass bitches to like.
No, so that's when you do that thing that people do, just like funny ass bitches do, where they tag it and they're like, don't tag, think, tag, about, tag, it, tag.
Oh yeah, don't think about it. Honestly though,
that's hilarious. I mean, everyone is nosy.
So nosy, and like I've tagged him in a few stories, and I already know how many like taps he's gotten and shit. And I'm like,
oh yeah, forget about it.
Like, set your account to private. Like I'm really not dealing with any of this energy.
That was a big thing with me and Ty, because I wanted him to set it private, and then I took it off of private. Yeah, that's a. I mean, I'm nosy.
That could be like my past insecurities speaking, because it was an issue for me in past relationships that like bitches would hit up my exes, and I was like, you're playing with the wrong bitch. You've got the wrong one.
Well, I think that's like, I don't think that's just you. I think that's something across the board. Wow, we are like divulging and getting so distracted, but that's a thing. And also, like, I'm nosy. When I see like a girl I follow whose life I'm invested in, she tags a man. Fuck yeah, I'm gonna scope him out.
I look at everyone in anyone's profile. It doesn't matter if it's your man, your dad, your mom, your grandpappy.
I look at him. I look at his mom. I look at his stepdad. I'm looking at his firstborn,
brother, his fucking
brother's new
cousin.
baby.
You gotta do your research. How do you think we're this well versed on what's going on in the world? We're nosy. That's just what it is.
Okay, so you got the slack line. Anything else, brother?
Yes. And like I said, my man will be with me at this time. Finally coming back from Tampa. Yeah. So by the time this airs, I'll be happy. Right now, not so much.
Right now, lonely as fuck.
Yeah.
Well, I went to the beach yesterday for the first time in months, and it was so nice. I cried actually when I went in the water.
Oh, Wow.
I did. I
love
teared
that
up.
for
I
you.
did. I was just so thankful and happy, and just like, the beach is something I never really take for granted. Like every time I'm there, I'm so thankful for the
Yeah,
beach
like
and like
praying on the sand.
my access to it.
Mhm.
But this just, it made it so much sweeter just being deprived of it for 3 or 4 months. I don't even know what fucking month it is. Like, it's still
What
2020?
year is
I
it?
don't know what's going on. Other than that, though, I got a closet door. I told you guys I got my closet door.
You got
Okay,
the office door.
I got my office door. Last
Mhm.
time I got my closet doors in the office, but now I don't have to like hear Tyler out there when we're recording. I can just close the door and I have
And
privacy. It's
lock
amazing.
it. Fuck that
And
guy.
lock it and stay in here forever.
Love that for you,
Okay,
brother. The doors
so
were
that's it. And that marked our last door of the apartment that we had to add on. So now I have all my doors.
wow.
Just so
Really,
exciting.
really started from the bottom. Now we're here.
I truly did. And, it was a slow, but I don't know where I was going with that. Let's just move on. Let's just move on and get right into it.
Okay, so guys, we are providing you guys with never before told details. We're giving you the tea on the shit that we've gone through together, what we've experienced together
Yeah.
before we get into like we're gonna give you guys like a little bit of a synopsis on our
Yes.
friendship and our
Yes,
lives.
how we became friends, get into it. Okay,
Mhm.
let's stop talking about it. Let's be about it. Also, you may notice our energy is a little different. I'm cracked out on Celsius right now.
I'm feeding off her energy. It looks like you're
And Jess
drinking
is
piss.
I am. Okay, so here we go. How we became friends. Jess and I met during something called Miami Swim Week. For those of you who don't know, it's like a really big week in Miami for models and swimwear brands and just in the industry. A bunch of people come into town and a bunch of swimwear brands show off their lines, their new lines. So that's how we originally met. We kind of knew each other through Instagram. We have a mutual friend, Erica Whedon. But we really hit it off during this swim week, like 6 years ago now, I think, right? 5 or 6.
We're coming up on I think this might be the 6th year.
Yeah. And we kind of hit it off. Like, she just reached out to me, I think, for an event. You wanted to like hire me for an event because at the time that's like what we did, kind of just helped recruit girls for random shit.
Yeah,
like
and it was
nothing even too formal. It was very like casual.
Oh my god,
like,
and it was like low budget stuff too. It's not like we were like booking each other for like fucking commercials and shit, It was like, oh, this person, wants to take pictures of us in a bikini, like, it's whatever, like come tag along,
like come get photos or come get a free suit, whatever. So yeah, we kind of hit it off. There's this one event where we like because we had been talking through Instagram, I think, for a few weeks before we actually met in person. And yeah, we hit it off, and then we went to a few other gigs together. And like it literally just went from there. We started shooting together constantly. We were getting each other work,
and we were just like, it worked out really, really well because we had the same exact like body type essentially, and we're very similar height, and then we also like were able to contrast each other so well, so it's not like we were like two blondes, like
competing.
we weren't competing. It was like it just worked out really well, and we had a lot of chemistry on camera, and so it's like we just shot very, very well together. So yeah, we kind of instantly connected from the jump, just like through work, and then through gig after gig after gig, we transitioned into like actual friends.
Yeah, we definitely like bonded at first through work, and I think that's like what attracted me to you, because at the time I I had just gotten out of high school, and I didn't really know anyone else who was trying to do what I was doing. So when I met you, there's a lot that we related on, and I was like, oh my god, yes, that happens to me too when I shoot photographers. Or like, oh my god, that swimwear brand said the same shit to me. Fuck them. Like, there was a lot of like little things like that I was like, oh my god, someone like understands. Yeah, because like I have a group of best friends from high school, but they don't understand that world at all. So it was nice to have someone who I can like talk shit to pretty much about like what we're doing,
and like just kind of like have like have a person there for you, like whether it's like at a job or whatever, like
Mhm.
whatever we were going through together. So it's like, and
Yeah.
back then it's like we really got stuck in a lot of like shitty situations or like just like uncomfortable
Oh my
situations.
god, dude, was this the first year? Actually, this is all coming back to me. Was it the first year that we worked that trade show together with for that bitch?
Oh my
Oh
god.
my god.
That bitch was
I think
fucking
that week
Satan.
we really bonded because we like fucking went through it
Dude,
together.
we would like hide in like the little dressing room for like seconds and like shed some tears and
Oh
then
my
go back
god.
out there.
Okay, for those of you who don't know, there's this like trade show part of the week where it's like in the convention center or they set up tents, but all these brands will set up their booths and then buyers will come and, you know, pick out items that they want to sell at their boutique or whatever it may be. So what they do is they hire models for like 12-hour fucking days
Yeah,
to
to model the
to
suits so people can
stand
see what they work
there,
on.
to stand in the freezing cold convention center, to stand on platforms and just try on as many bathing suits as their little hearts fucking desire. I
Mhm.
mean, it was not fun. We got paid well though,
We
but
did get paid well, but like
it was not
we'd
fun.
like
Not to mention,
we'd like
go ahead.
ask for like, first of all, we couldn't take lunches like together. So
Oh
like
my god.
I'd have to take a 30-minute lunch and then she would take a 30-minute lunch and like it like this
Well, also the woman we worked for was just a
she was
bitch.
a
It's
stone
not it's
cold
not always
bitch.
that bad, but like things like that we like bonded together through. We like went through together,
Mhm.
and yeah, we kept just referring each other for gigs and making each other money, and we were like, this is great. Like this is
Yeah.
like such a benefiting type of like
Friendship,
relationship.
yeah.
And then from there it like really grew into like a strong friendship.
Mhm.
We had like so many pre-podcasts. We have traveled a lot together, which of
Mhm.
course brings its own set of like crazy experiences. I mean, like we've done a lot.
Yeah, I mean, aside from like in the States, because like we went to like North Carolina together, like I took her to like my
Mhm.
hometown, which we've talked about. We've gone to California together. We've been to Mexico together a few times. We've been to St. Lucia together. Um yeah, so I mean, and you really learn someone through
Yeah,
traveling with them.
truly. Yeah, that's such a good point because I don't know if we've made that point before, but you really do get to know someone traveling and like
Mhm.
especially because I think you're like with them so much and then you're put in such different scenarios than like normal
That
life.
test your character
Um
and test your
yeah.
person.
So yeah, so there's just like a lot of things that we experienced together, and then that kind of led up to like that was the preface for, you know, this show is like our friendship, the shit we've gone through together.
Mhm.
And if it weren't for all of those experiences, I don't think we would have been able to have this idea and have like full confidence that one, we'd have enough to talk about, two, that we would be good business partners or, you
Mhm.
know, passion project partners. um yeah, there's a lot of reasons why we like knew this would work for us.
Yeah.
And yeah. Yeah.
So I'm curious to know what your first impression was of me.
That you were a boss ass bitch.
You love to see it.
No, but obviously like we've kind of discussed this in episodes previous. Jess and I have very like different personalities in a sense, but we align in some ways that really work.
Mhm.
So like she is the more aggressive side, but I also don't want to like, you know, shove you into that category either
Yeah.
because you've grown so much since then. However, when I met you, you were definitely a little more on the aggressive side. You've
Yeah.
gotten less aggressive. But my first impression was definitely like, oh shit, like this bitch is like she doesn't care who the fuck you are. She'll put you in your place.
Crackhead energy, baby.
Let's go. So that's like, yeah, that's just true to who you are, and I think that shows definitely within the first few like moments of like meeting you and just feeling your
Yeah,
energy.
and it's definitely because of the situations in which we met.
Yeah,
Because it's
totally.
like we were doing like, you know, like shoots together and bookings together, and it's like I'm when it comes to like me feeling like someone's taking advantage of me or like people that I'm around. Like even if I'm at like a booking, and I've said this before, like even if I'm at a booking with another girl, like I won't only stand up for myself, like I will stand up for anyone else who's there, because
that's just who you are.
Yeah. And so like you probably just like saw that side of me a lot more, because I can be a lot more defensive in those types of situations.
Yeah. And we were working together a lot, so that explains that. And also, but also something I really admired was like I immediately recognized off the bat that you were a hustler. Like you weren't just like, you know, sitting there acting pretty. Like you were out here like, hey, do you want to do this? Hey, do you want to do this? Let's shoot this day. You know, do you want to work this gig? Let's connect with that person. And I was like, damn, I see you.
Let's go make some
money.
money.
You hustling, like constantly shooting. Like you were shooting way more than me. You still shoot way more than me. Yeah. But that off the bat is something that I like admired and fucked with.
Appreciate you, brother. I like making money. What can I say?
You know.
Well,
okay, first impression of me.
I'll just go into it. You didn't ask, but I'll do it. So I remember like seeing you on Instagram, and I was like super intimidated.
Yeah, we've talked about this before. It's so weird.
You were like, you were more established than me. Like you had obviously like been modeling a lot longer, and I don't know. I definitely just thought that, and I don't know if it's because you have a resting bitch face, but I definitely thought you were going to be a bitch or just be standoffish.
So funny.
So I was definitely, like definitely just intimidated. But like the minute you started warming up to me, I was like, all right, I can win her over. She'll be my friend.
That's interesting. I wonder, did you get like a cold energy at first? Did I seem like closed off?
Just maybe through Instagram. I wish we could like go. It'd be
relive.
No, not relive, but like go find the messages and stuff.
The first messages, yeah.
Because that'd be. I mean, but you know,
it's so
interesting. Messages later.
Yeah, hell no. Yeah, that's interesting. I've gotten that a lot. That people assume I'm intimidating, and I'm like, I feel like I'm not that way at all.
I mean, dude, I don't either. But it's funny that you say that, because I got a message from a girl recently who like I went to college with. And just like we had mutual friends. I never was really friends with her, but she was messaging me, and she was just saying like, it's crazy how much like, you've grown since college, blah, blah, blah. Like, I'm sure you know this, but I was so intimidated by you. And I was like, I'm literally the goofiest, like most dumb person. Like
yes, but you also hold that energy where it's like, don't fuck with me. Like you'll be goofy, but it's still like, if you don't know you the way someone who's close to you knows you, I could still see them being intimidated of you.
Yeah, I guess I do really just try to be like welcoming though to a lot, especially in the
it's a BDE.
It's just
can't help it. It's just that big dick energy.
Yeah. But anyways, if you guys see us on the street, we promise we're not intimidating.
Oh my god, we are the nicest. Whenever anyone who's come up and like said something about the podcast. Just because there's so many fans. No, but there has been a few instances, not to gas us up, where someone will be like, oh my god, I love what you're doing. I love your show. We are so nice. I'm like, what's your name? What's your Instagram? Like, I'm following you right now.
No, I've cried.
Yeah.
Like, we've literally, like, we finished a conversation one time, and Deadass turned around and just like
both like teared up.
Yeah,
because this girl was just like, thank you so much. And it's okay. This episode is gonna be just we're shooting the shit with you guys. It's the last season, and you'll get into like
last episode. Of
last season. Did I? Yeah. Sorry, guys. See you later. It's been fun. It's weird because there's a lot of you guys who are silent listeners, and like we see the numbers, and then we see the amount of reposts and the people who reach out. Granted, we get a lot of messages, like there is a good amount of people who have reached out to us and like let us know they're listening. There's a lot of you guys who are just low-key there and like don't say shit.
Which, do your thing.
Which is fine.
We love you guys all the same.
Yes, we love you all the same. So it is interesting. So when someone comes up to us in person and is like, thank you so much, like you've
inspired me.
She said like once I started listening to the show, like things in my life started to align. Like, oh
Like, I have goosebumps right now, bitch.
Yeah, so that's like what she said, and we turned around and literally cried. So,
Yeah. So we appreciate you guys. We love
yeah,
you.
we love you guys. I don't even remember like what the start of that conversation was.
Mm.
Couldn't tell you.
I was just gonna say, could not tell you.
Couldn't tell you.
So you guys get the gist. We have been best friends like long before the podcast, and we knew that we could do something like this together. And not to
Yeah.
mention, like we're kind of like business partners previous to this. You know, whether
Yeah.
booking each other work and or like when we worked corporate for almost a year
Mhm.
together. It's like we literally have worked together
Yeah.
our entire lives. Well,
Yeah.
our entire friendship, our entire lives.
In different scenarios, but yeah, we've always like, connected on that
Mhm.
work basis. And like why we started the show, but previous to Whiskey and Water, we like in the years past, we've always like felt this desire to want to do something together, whether it was like creating a business or starting a nonprofit, like some sort of project like we knew we wanted to do together and like
Mhm.
be creative and just make something happen. We had actually, funny story, when we were at the corporate job, we were like so miserable and bored
We
with
were
our
like, we have to start a
lives.
business. We've got to
Yeah, we
get
were
out of
like,
here.
let's get out of here. We're starting a business.
Yeah.
And we like came up with a whole name and concept. Can we tell them the
Mhm.
concept? It's already out there, so no one can steal it. Like someone's already running our
Yeah.
fucking
Okay, so
business.
this was when like subscription boxes were like
We're not
taking
it
off.
yet.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah. Like in the very early days. And so
Before it was like oversaturated.
yeah, and so we had the idea to do like a subscription box of like a monthly bikini, like some sunnies, like
Like
some tanning
beach
oil, beach
necessities.
necessities, like little towel, which listen, let me tell you, it's still a cute
It's still a
idea.
great idea. We
Guys,
gotta do it.
are we bringing this back right now?
Don't steal it from us. But we had like a cute little name picked out. Jess doesn't want anyone to steal it, even though I don't think you
Okay,
guys
the name
will.
is cute like it's not just in regards to this. Like we could use that in the future.
Okay.
We had a
Well,
logo. We spent hours at our corporate job, like
like
researching
planning it
this,
out and yeah.
and then
And
we were just
then
like,
well, you know what happened when it came time to invest? We were like, peace. Oh, a business? It's not free to start. We have to invest our own
oh,
money. LOL, joke's on us now.
yeah, right. Imagine if we had started that 3 years ago.
Well, not even that. Imagine if we had invested the money that we were too scared to invest in that. The amount of money we've invested into this podcast, imagine we invested into that business. We would have been millionaires already.
You're not wrong. We were making good money from that job too. We were sleeping.
True, we're sleeping.
Anyways.
Anyways, so yeah, like so we have had ideas in the past and we had that little idea and we planned it out together and we figured it out like, how it would be to work together and be business partners in that way. And then with the podcast, it was something I think you just originally brought up and was like,
You
we
guys
should
are
do a
welcome.
podcast. Yes, thank you.
Yeah, so I remember bringing it up to you, like I think in like at this time it would have been 2018. I brought it up to
Yeah, like
you.
2 years ago.
Uh, man, imagine if we started back then. No, but I brought it up to you, and you were like, yeah, like like thinking about the idea, but I definitely didn't want to just like push you. Like I wanted you to like mull
Mm-hmm.
it over, and then
And like want to do it.
yeah, and so like I would like bring it up remind you every couple of
Mm-hmm.
months, like, oh, this is still something we should do. And then
Yeah.
you finally got back to me. Not in like that way, but like you finally came around.
For like 6 months, and I was like, I'll get back to you.
And then we just didn't talk until then. No, but you
Yeah.
finally came around and you were like, hey, we should do the podcast. And I was like, this is what I'm saying.
And I was so concrete in my decision because, yeah, it was like for me, I was a little hesitant at first. I think it's just something like, I think that's kind of just how I work too, is I like to just like
Mhm.
sleep on things and sit on it for a little bit.
And I'm more
So,
full
yeah,
send.
yeah, she's more like has an idea, executes it, we're doing it, we're
Mhm.
like full on balls to the wall doing it.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I had to sit on it for like a year or so, and yeah, we brought it up here and there and like talked about things. I don't know what hit me, but I remember being like just having a moment and being like, yes, this is what's
This is
next.
the
Like
move.
we have to do this. And I texted her, I was like, let's fucking start a podcast. And I feel like it got to the point where we had been listening to so many podcasts ourselves, and I felt like I finally had enough to share in terms, bless you, in terms of like my life experiences and
Yeah.
things we've learned in business and things that we've gone through in our friendship. Like it just felt like the right place at the right time. And I was like ready to kind of open up in that way and try to provide that value to our audience.
Definitely. And I don't think that we would have started it if we weren't confident in like what we could provide and the insight that we have, just because we've lived a lot of life. And like the thing is, and it's not like it's been like an easy ride by any means. Like
no,
we've
I mean, that's why we wanted to, because it hasn't been.
Like we've both gone through like a lot, heartbreak, trauma, emotional trauma, like
cheating, like
just
not to say, we are very privileged and blessed, and our challenges are, whatever they might be compared to others.
Compared to others.
Yeah, and we acknowledge that, and we're very aware. But like you said, exactly, you hit it on the nail. Like I even like thinking about me and Tyler's story. A lot of you, I think, listen to
Liv's love story.
That was fun.
Liv's
love story, which was still to this day, one of our best performing episodes. And like that, our story is something that when I thought about it, I was like, that is an incentive for me to want to do a podcast, to share my experience with love and relationships and getting cheated on and breaking up and getting back together, so it was instances like that I was like, yeah, let's fucking do a podcast.
Yeah. And just
let's start this shit.
And the thing is, like, I feel like we lean on each other so much as best friends, and like if we could be that for someone else, or our entire audience, like if we can be that friend to you, if we can give you that advice, if we can share what we've been through and
make you feel heard, validate your feelings and your experiences,
help guide you and put you on the right path, hopefully, like that's, I feel like we'd be doing people a disservice by not sharing that, not sharing that truth.
Yeah, I'm so happy you said that. I made that point because that was, thinking about just sitting on this for so long and thinking about it, that was a huge incentive for me too, is being like, because I knew the value we gained from listening to other podcasts and how they literally changed like our mindset, which in turn changes your life and your everyday decisions. And I felt like, why would I not want to do that for others? Why would I not want to encourage others to, go beyond their self-limiting beliefs, or like I just felt like we could make a difference.
Yeah.
And that was like a huge motivating factor. Like it gives us a voice beyond an Instagram caption, which, like you can only get so deep in.
Yeah. And not to mention, like, to take this even like a level deeper, it's like I've kind of identified my purpose in life to be like helping. I'm a helper. Like even when we go back to like the Enneagram, like I'm a helper, you're a helper. And it's like I know, and I've thought about this. It's not like I've self-decided that I'm like, yeah,
I am a helper.
I don't have a fucking God complex here. It's just that's kind of, after reflecting on my life and multiple psilocybin trips, I just came to realize that like where I feel the most useful and the most purposeful in my life, and where I've felt most fulfilled, is when I help others, and I feel like throughout my life it's been a common theme that like my friends and the people closest to me have always felt really comfortable confiding in me and knowing that I'm good at guiding them and helping. And it's almost even like I have like what do they call it, like when
Sixth Sense?
No. I wish. Sixth Sense, kind of.
You psychic bitch? What?
No, I meant like imposter syndrome. Like it's hard. It's hard for me to even say that because I'm like, fuck, I struggle so much myself, and like if I could take some of my own advice, like I'd be better off. But I know if I'm good at anything, it's helping others and like lending a hearing ear. is that how that saying goes? Hearing,
maybe you're asking the wrong
lending an
person.
ear. Yeah, truly.
Yeah, no, I feel that 100%. And even in terms of like, I think bringing that aspect to our audience too, and like kind of, it's like serving others in a way. Not to, I hope this
I
doesn't
know.
sound like we're like, thank you all.
I know.
You're
Like,
welcome.
we fucking
You're so welcome. Guys, I hope we are not coming off like that, but
Yeah.
that was just, a driving force for this podcast, because we'll get into this too. Actually, we also failed to mention we have a very special guest joining us. Podcast Daddy, our producer,
Zach
will be joining in just a few, and we'll get into kind of like the technical and production aspect of the show, just because I feel like that's interesting. Like, I love to know the behind the scenes of like things that I watch all the time and listen to.
We're giving you guys like the entire timeline, like pre-Whiskey and Water, like why we wanted to do it, how it came to be, what was I saying? It was like to be in it.
Okay, so before I forget to reel back, yeah, that was one of the driving forces, because to be honest, we'll get into this. We've invested a lot into this show. Like, other than our blood, sweat, and tears, time, energy, and a lot of money, which is something that we haven't really shared with you guys before. But we feel like at this toddler point in our lives of the show's life, we want to be honest and transparent. And we also want you guys to know, like, I don't like the word sacrifice, because this is something we obviously enjoy and brings so much fulfillment to our life.
It is it's truly like our passion project.
Yeah, but we want you guys to know like how much we put into this show. So like,
yeah, we don't just like sit here on Zoom and like we're like, all right,
talk out our asses. Well, sometimes
like so much time goes into like editing. Like, this isn't like obviously, I'm sure you guys know it's not like a live stream. Like, we go back in and we cut things up.
Yeah, and we're gonna we like there's a lot of like preparation that goes into it. But again, the point I was trying to make is just, we're not trying to be like, oh, you're welcome. But those driving forces is what made us want to do this. It wasn't money. Like, that's my point. And it wasn't like, oh, we're going to fucking be millionaires off of this.
No,
it was like,
no, we had to come to terms with like, we had to sit down and be like, okay, if this doesn't ever make any money, are we cool with that? And it was like, we had to be. Yeah. Because that's not what we're here for. We're passionate about it. And obviously, that'd be great if it would be nice. It would be nice.
But hey, we're just toddlers. Maybe one day we'll be adults.
Yeah. Maybe one day we'll be 16, get our first job, and get a car, and move out of our parents' houses. But for now, the goal. I'm still wearing pull-up diapers.
Exactly. Yeah, so that's kind of like why we wanted to start the show, and just it's another medium to connect with our audience with. I mean, like I said, we both have Instagrams. I have a blog. We don't have YouTubes. I think a lot of people use YouTube, but we just got so much value out of podcast, and it's such a more intimate like relationship with you guys. I mean, us, a lot about our lives. So like, now even on Instagram, on stories, or in my captions, I feel like I can be more myself, because I feel like more of you guys know me.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. We have been fully transparent with you guys. Like, we've told you guys like literally like the craziest, our deepest, darkest traumas. Like, I mean, pretty much everything. It's like you guys know us like to the core if you've been listening since day one.
And like, what is life all about? Relationships, right? Like, so having a deeper relationship to our listeners is like more fulfilling for me than just being a girl they follow on Instagram who wears cute shit and gets a like. Like, I'd rather you listen to this, whatever insight I have to share, and experiences and lessons I've learned along the way, and provide value to in that way, instead of, that's a whole other conversation about Instagram and like, the psyche behind it. But you guys get the point. I feel like we've
hammered that home. So yeah, when we decided that we wanted to do this, it was, I mean, whiskey and water was essentially conceptualized in coffee
In
shops.
a coffee shop. Yeah.
Like we sat down, like we've spent hours and hours
In coffee
in
shops.
coffee shops, just like brainstorming, deciding like on the name, deciding
Yeah.
on like the branding,
The
and then
conversation topics, like
yeah,
kind of just like what it's so interesting when you start something from scratch because you have, and we get into this with Zach, like you have so much creative freedom. It's like there's so many directions you can go, and you kind of just have to sit there and brainstorm, like, okay, what do we want to represent? What are the values kind of that we want to talk about, and the conversation topics and things like that.
yeah, and then to add on to everything that we were deciding, we were like launch party, of course.
Duh.
So then that
We
was
have to celebrate.
so that was like a whole ass fucking
Guys,
thing.
we had the most lit fucking launch party.
Ugh.
Like, we did that shit right. Bitch, we're event planners.
Dude, that was a great fucking party.
That was a good old time, honestly.
Dude, we have footage from that.
Yes.
We hired a videographer and we have not
We never
even looked
even
at
like we haven't even looked at it. We haven't edited it. We're sleeping on ourselves. Well, honestly, it's because once we started, like once we released episode 1, it was nonstop. Like that's why it didn't get edited, because once we started, we were like,
I ain't got time
holy
for that.
fuck.
Yeah.
No, we didn't have time. We didn't have energy. Like we were just trying to keep up with getting the episode out every week. Like
Yeah. But
Facts.
so, we might end up editing that footage for you guys and giving it as a little gift because it's fucking
yeah.
that shit.
Some unreleased footage. Yeah, we had such a good time. Anyways, before the launch party, we sat down at this coffee shop. Jess, we were throwing out names. We were talking about colada talk because we like loved coffee, and we were just brainstorming. It only took us one brainstorming session, and Jess threw out, "What about whiskey and water?" And I was like, "Huh, okay, all right. I fuck with you.
All right, I'm gonna fuck with you."
I sent it out to like my group chat of best friends. We sent it out to our friend T Drew. Just sent it out to a few people and like got their opinions on it. Like, does this roll off the tongue? What do you think about it? Like, do you have any like, first assumptions when you hear the name? And everyone was like, love it. And we were like, done, bitch, whiskey and water, let's go.
We literally didn't look back after that. It was just
no. And like once we had the name, it was like, we're doing this. Like that was such a concrete moment to like start the brand from. Yeah, I just remember being like, oh fuck, like let's go. We're doing this shit. Like
that was really like kind of what got the fire started under our asses.
Yeah, I made it real. And then we planned the launch party. We had a photo booth, we had a fucking DJ, we had bartenders, we had merch. We had merch, we had shirts, we had a whiskey sponsor, we had napkins with the fucking logo on it, we had stickers everywhere with the logo on it.
Not
it was
to mention
lit.
that photo booth like printed out photos that like people took home.
Yeah, it was so we had a projection screen that was like showing our first 2 episodes, like showing the funny clips that we did. It was lit.
That was a good party.
Whiskey and Water knows how to throw a motherfucking party.
I can't wait till we can throw another party, brother.
Yeah, we will when it's safe.
Yeah, maybe my birthday. I'm already planning my birthday.
Whiskey party.
My birthday's in October. But and then once we decided that like we were doing this, like the first person that I reached out to was PD Podcast Daddy Zach, and I think we talk about this when he comes on, but we got so lucky. Yeah,
he is. I mean,
he's podcast daddy.
He's podcast daddy.
We're so lucky because he really he was really like gave us that assurance that we needed and like ran with the idea like immediately, like was like a third partner, like behind the scenes like voice.
Yeah, we get all into it with him, but we feel so lucky, like because we also, just so you guys know, like a lot of times podcasts are just audio. We knew we wanted to do have a video aspect. So that's why we, had Zach come in and we were just like, do you know anything about podcasts? Like, can you help us with this? And we'll let him, let's just go into that. Let's just bring in Zach.
All right, guys. Enjoy our combo with Zach.
Yes. And we'll see you on the other side.
All right, guys, we are here with PD Podcast Daddy Zach. How's it going, brother?
Good, it's been a while since we've last seen each other, but we've been in touch. So I've been like so proud of you guys and all the progress you've been able to make and keeping this thing going and growing.
Yes,
Pandemic.
thriving.
It was a struggle. It was a struggle
Yes.
at first.
Low key still is because technology fucking hates us, but here we are. Here we are. This is your first on-screen appearance.
This is what I look like.
Well, other than like a few like intros, I think you were in the back just like dancing with Nugget and shit. But
Nice.
yeah, for those of you who don't know, Zach, well, kind of our OGs. Before we went remote, you know, we might have some listeners who just recently started listening. Zach is our
Shout out to you
producer.
guys.
Yes, Zach is our producer. He's been with us literally since day one, since day negative 30 probably. And he just kind of believed in us just from the start, pushed us, told us we could do it, like had the best insight for us, just was a third brain working and trying to figure out this whole project. And yeah, he's PD, Podcast Daddy.
Yeah,
I didn't give myself that name, by the way, guys.
We gave him that name, I think, like day one. And at the time, you were in a relationship. So you were kind of like, you know, that name can stay within the confines of the Whiskey Water studio. But
yeah, eventually.
Hey, gang. Okay, guys, so this was our Christmas, right? It was a Christmas gift to Zach.
People can't. So he's holding up.
He's holding up the back of the
chair.
Yeah, so we got him a director's chair for Christmas, like a legit ass director's chair. On one side it says Whiskey and Water, and the other side it says Podcast Daddy. Yeah.
Got many compliments on it.
I love it. I love that you actually like use it. That makes my heart very happy.
It's like it's a main decoration in my house.
We are like
it's a statement piece.
We like take gifts so seriously. It's so sweet. Zach got Jess a flask that said whiskey on it for her birthday. He got me the patent print of an eyelash curler. For those who know us and know the show, you know. I don't have to explain.
It's our go-to. It's a pro tip. It's a way of life.
Yeah.
Yeah, eyelash curler is a way of life.
It's a lifestyle. Yeah, so kind of we'll just chat about like, you know, how we started. And Zach was actually the first, by some grace of God miracle, was the first person that Jess thought to reach out to.
Yeah, we've known Zach previous to
like 3 years
him
now.
becoming podcast daddy just through the industry in Miami and stuff. And so when we were thinking like, who the fuck are we gonna help us with this, I literally just thought of Zach because I knew that he was just like a creative, and not that I thought that he had any podcast experience, but I was like, I feel like he's someone that can like just, you know, help us figure it out. And so from that moment on, you were literally just part of the team, and like we obviously like we're so grateful. Like you're part of our family. You're like a third partner to us, and we got so lucky, like not having to like go through different people to like find the right one. You know?
Yeah, and like literally, we always say like we just throughout all the struggles and the learning curve and figuring it out, like every time Jess and I would just be like, we got so lucky. Anyone else would have fucking walked out that door by this point. Like we are so lucky. He believes in us and believes in the show and like loves us and wants to see us succeed. Yeah.
Let's let Zach talk for himself.
I know. We're just gassing him up.
Like, my tank is full right now. All right. So, yeah, I mean, but you guys did your part. Like, to be clear, it's like, I think a lot of people forget that. And I think that both of you being like self-driven in this industry as well, like you understood that things take effort from everybody and you can't just like ask someone for like a favor in a sense. Like you can't ask for someone like, hey, can you help us out with this without doing as much as you can to make their job easy. And like, you guys definitely did that for me. And, you know, like, you did it so well to the point that there was a point in time where like we had kind of been like, all right, how can we like add someone to the team? And then it made sense to bring on Lucas, who became our editor. But like at that point, right. And then like, you know, we moved things around to make that happen. But like I stayed on because I just felt like, you know, like I wanted to be here until I felt like you guys kind of like we're comfortable.
Mhm.
And this
Self-sufficient.
pandemic like pushed us to do something that we had discussed, which was really interesting, which was like this remote thing was like it was part of the pandemic, but to be clear, guys, it's something we had discussed in the past because we were thinking about ways that we could reach more people in more places instantaneously. So
Right.
here we are.
Here we motherfucking are. I'm just
But,
curious to know, like, we did before we recorded our first episode, you know, we obviously had to like test the audio and kind of like just do a first run of the technical aspects because Zach had no idea how to run a podcast either. So we literally were just all like gonna learn this shit together
We're all
and
podcast virgins.
figure it the fuck out together. And like I remember you came by for one of our like our first test run and we did like a 20-minute like little snippet, which literally can never be released because there's just confidential information in there. But I'm just curious to know, like, what were you like? What the fuck did I sign up for? Like, were you just like these girls are crackheads?
Yeah. What was your first impression?
No, I thought like, it was like at the end of the day when you approached me about it, I was like, oh, because I knew both of you and it was like I could see where the appeal was. So I kind of was like, all right, let me just like take a calm approach. Like where I was like, let me just see what we have, what we don't have. I was trying to apply knowledge I already have on like audio, hardware and software and trying to piece it all together because it all was stuff I'm familiar with, but actually producing the podcast and making the episodes come out weekly, that I think was the challenge that we ended up like. I didn't start thinking about how hard it was going to be until we were like a few episodes in and we realized the well, we even tried to get ahead of it, but it was impossible. That's the whole thing is like we anticipated it, but it was even more than we thought. So that came later. In the beginning, I was like, oh, this is great. We're drinking coffee.
Every
Colada
morning.
Just had an awesome view, so
and
so
then reality set in of like, oh fuck, we have to release an episode every week.
and they were long and we were doing multiple cameras. Like we definitely shot for the stars.
Oh my God.
I was like, oh, how can I make this like the highest quality possible? And I guess I kind of like was being in like dreamer mode, and I was like, I didn't think about
we just didn't know. I mean, like we were naive and thinking like, okay, so like to fill you guys in, when we first started, we had 3 different camera angles. So we had 3 cameras, just Zach running 3 cameras, 3 tripods, and the audio. And also at the time, we were recording on Sony's, which for those of you who don't know, because we didn't know this either, Sony's only record up to 20 minutes before
we say it, just because I gotta step in to say it's not Sony's, but it's the DSLR Sony's.
Okay, DSLR Sony's.
Yeah, there you go.
Thank you, producer. Okay, so they only record up to 20 minutes because they can't. That way, they're not considered video cameras, so they're taxed differently for import taxes. So, like so random and strange, and like it's not something that you would know unless you're in the industry. So every 20 minutes, we had to like. The first like 10 episodes somewhere around there.
I would like a text and be like, we've got 20 seconds.
Would text us coming up to 20 minutes, and we would have to try to find a good place to like, okay, cut, and then we would piece like 3 or 4 of those
together.
Oh my God! From all 3 angles, the footage was so big because we were shooting in 4K, which
so we could crop in and do funny things and like. It was ambitious. It was a lot of fun to learn. Like, what am I saying? It wasn't fun. It's fun now that we look back.
It was not fun. We were miserable and stressed, and your entire laptop fucking shitted on you.
I had to get another computer just to start being able to like. Because it would take so long to export the 4K hour-long. I was like realizing we're exporting the equivalent of a fucking movie.
Literally.
Yeah. I was like, this is like a fucking like TV special movie. Like, what the fuck is this?
We were doing the most.
Yeah.
But that's why you guys will see on the feed, like our first few teasers, like the angles, the fucking camera, everything looks it looks like a movie. Like it
did look good though. It did be looking good.
we may bring it back soon enough, like once we get some sponsors. Hello everyone. Hey sponsors, what up?
Yeah, but like we've gone through a
Good.
lot of like those type of changes, which really we just had to figure out along the way. Like,
No one could have told us.
we had to sit down and be like, okay, how can we make our lives easier because we're all fucking dying.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was definitely a lot. We were surviving solely off of colada
colada,
shots and nugget belly rubs, honestly.
I mean,
dude.
on average, it probably was taking like 10 to 12 hours per episode, like in total, like from like when you guys would make, because we even had to develop, like from the beginning, we just kind of would wing it. And then like we started developing a system of having flow charts of the conversations so that we could keep
Yeah.
everyone on point and move things along. Like we're learning how important it is to give people references when you're talking
Mhm.
for an hour. You got to like have some kind of thing to refer back to because it's so
Yeah.
easy to like dig into a subject and forget where
Yeah.
Yeah, and
you are.
he had no idea where our conversations were going sometimes, and like he'd be
Yeah.
signaling us from behind the camera and be like, "Wrap this up!" Like,
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, we've changed like so much, and it really is just stuff we had to learn along the way, and just like pivot and change things and get better in other ways and figure out how we can be more time efficient. And like we just like narrowed it down to such a good system. Yeah, we just went through so many like trial and errors when it came to like the technical side and what we were filming and how we were filming it. So now you guys can see from the teasers, like we on the Instagram page, we have one angle. It makes our life so much easier. Zach like started shooting on, well, this is pre-COVID, but he
Yeah.
started shooting on one camera that can film the entire hour. But we like figured it out together, and I think there's like something so like at the time, yes, we were fucking stressed, we were dying, but looking back, like I'm so glad we went through that struggle together and like figured it out, because it is like fulfilling in a way to be like, yeah, look how far we came, and like look how much we evolved, you know.
Yeah.
mhm.
And for people that I think, because I think a lot of people do watch this as well, just like interested in maybe they're curious about making podcasts, and maybe this is an episode that'll give some insight. At least I see it
Mm-hmm.
that way. It's like, I mean, it was difficult to get these things going. Also, because once you get the ball rolling and you're releasing, you're balancing the ever going show plus trying to make changes. So that means extra time that we'd have to maybe link up to test something, or time that we'd have to get together earlier
Mm-hmm.
to make sure
Yeah.
something would work, or time we'd spend after filming to just like be like, fuck, that was hard. What went wrong? How can we optimize? Like,
Yeah, how can we
Yeah.
be better?
a lot of
Yeah.
extra time, a lot of like we did, we'd get together like a couple times a month and like have dinner with like the crew and just talk and try to like, that was part of it. It was like keeping it also feeling like this is a team thing. Again, we all put in our time, and then we'd all find time to even like be personally involved with each other. Like, okay, like I know what you're going through in your life. I know what you're going through
Yeah.
in your life. We'd all be considering each other's personal lives, so
Mm-hmm.
nobody felt like overwhelmed. So that was
Yeah.
important. A lot of people don't do that. They just kind of like look at like deadline thing, and they
Yeah.
forget about the people involved.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
no, I
think
mean, we were definitely like a family, like a team, and it was definitely hard, especially getting all of our schedules like lining up, because it's like, Liv lives like Liv lives Liv
Mhm.
lives like 30 minutes, 30, 40 minutes away. You like went through like a situation where you are moving. So it's like, yeah, we had to be like super accommodating, like when
Hmm.
Liv was traveling, when you were traveling, when I was traveling. So it's like,
Yeah,
I
we
think
all
that,
travel for work, and so like
yeah,
that alone is enough to fuck up the schedule.
Yeah.
so
And
it
I think
was
like
just being accommodating and being understanding of each other.
yeah, and I think we had like a lot of conversations about making this like we were like there's a lot of ways we can go about this show. And like what I can say like through and through again is every time we like had a discussion about the show or our strategy or how we can be better, like we always gave, and we still do, but we always gave it our all to like make this as well of a produced show as possible. Like we weren't just coming at this like, oh yeah, let's just like talk shit in a microphone and like put it out there and ramble off. It's like
Yeah.
every decision we made was like, how can we make this like, and Zach would always say, how can we make this like a talk show? Like think about the talk shows that get aired on fucking, the daily talk shows.
Because
And
this is the new talk show. This is what
yeah,
it's going to
it
become.
is. Yeah.
We're trying to get ahead of a curve here of like what's going to be the change in entertainment. And then I think in a way like this whole like webcam thing, like look, we don't know what's going to go on with the virus, but I think that people are like really hyper aware of the possibility of working remotely now. And I think this is like hyper relevant, just the way that we're adapting and the
Yeah.
fact that we always pivoted, like kind of prepared us to do this. But that was like the mindset that we're always like, let's get ahead of trends. Let's get ahead of
Yeah.
these things.
So what do you feel like from like the producer's standpoint? What has
Yeah.
been the highlight of the show for you?
The highlight or like what you feel like, I don't know, like the value
Has been
you
most
got,
fulfilling or whatever it may
enjoyable.
be?
Yeah.
Hmm. I mean, it was. I guess there's like you said, like different kinds of things. It's like what was enjoyable versus like what was valuable, and some were one and the same. But it's like obviously working with you guys and like us getting to just have that experience of like starting a team from the bottom and doing something none of us had really done before, but getting through that experience was very gratifying. And yeah, I just felt like that was a big win and
Yeah.
also enjoyable. Like we had like when we would succeed through something, that made me feel happy, right? So that was like
Yeah.
a good moment as well. And then I guess on top of that, I don't know. I mean, there was just like I said, it was all these little moments, like all these little wins, and like also again, just like the little moments of like getting my chair, like it's like cool stuff. Like I really felt like we were giving things 100%, and there's a lot of people that like want to say they're giving 100% to something and they're really not, and whatever. And I think that it was just cool to for once like be approached by someone about like a passion project, and those people were actually as passionate about it as they said they were going to be.
Right.
That was refreshing.
Yeah. Yeah, and I feel like just even the creative process of doing this was so, because we had so many conversations of like this, we can do whatever we want. Like we have full creative reign over what we want to do with this, how we want to approach it, like just sitting there and brainstorming and thinking of different ideas. Like that is like such an enjoyable, fun process that like, because Jess and I do the Instagram stuff, but it's like it's the same every time. Like we get a brief, we take photos, we edit the photos. It's like, and we're used to it and we nail it. We know how to do it now. But this was like such an interesting challenge because it was like we didn't have any sort of playbook to follow. Like we were making up as we went, and having that creative freedom was so fun to just be like, oh, we can do snippets and we can do this and maybe we'll like do these fun games. So that was like just such a fun creative process to all be brainstorming about together.
Totally.
I can't wait to get back to it.
Truly.
Season 4. Yeah.
I'm excited to start filming in person again. As much fun as like filming remotely has been, like I'm excited to kind of have that routine and like ritual back of like meeting at the apartment and taking colada shots and like and then like being able to like wrap. I leave my filming, my like microphone shit on the couch like 24/7 because I never know when we're gonna need to like hop on. But it was so nice because like we'd come upstairs and I would break out the podcast table and break out all the mics.
It's weird. It was only like 3 months ago that we were doing that, but it does feel like an eternity.
Dude, it feels. I mean, we've had like what, like eight remote episodes now.
Yeah.
So it's been a minute. It's
definitely been a minute.
I mean, the cool thing is like when we hop back in, it'll be like we'll probably implement facets of this into the show from now on, like record a Zoom call with someone and then like we can edit it into the bottom corner of the show, like stuff like that, so we can set up virtual guests. But
I mean that, and I feel like Olivia and I both have a much better understanding of how to like film it ourselves, and like I understand the audio board. What is it called?
The interface.
I know how to work the interface, kind of. Sometimes
you had to go through like a remote education on these things.
We had to figure it out. We didn't have a choice.
So it was kind of nice that like it also forced us into that. But yeah, definitely ready to.
I wasn't around. I wasn't around to plug things and adjust things.
I know. Well,
like I said, I'm proud of you.
We're ready to get back to it. I'm ready for colada shots. Like I'm ready to be cracked out. I'm ready for it all. I'm excited to get back to it, even though.
Yeah, and I feel like just the energy when we're like in person is just so much different. Like not to say that I feel like, these episodes have been great as well, but like there's just something different.
When we're like hyping each other up.
Yeah.
We're each other's hype mans.
It's like when like a team before the game like gets in a huddle and it's like, all right. Like that's us just with coffee.
I'll be honest, I just miss
Nugget.
Nugget.
Nugget
I don't
misses
blame
you
you.
too.
I don't blame you. Yeah, I wish we
Nugget's been
like had.
behaving right now, though. He behaves better when there's not a lot of people. That's one plus.
Oh yeah, like he
Because he
has
gets
not
hyped.
walked out during an episode. Like,
It's
Oh
just
my
mom.
god,
I don't
so
care.
guys,
on.
that's a whole other thing. Every time Nugget, on top of like having to wait the 20 minutes, every time Nugget got up, you'd hear his little pitter patter, and we all, okay, so let's tell him, we all had this rule. We were like, do not look at him, do not say his name, and it took like a few times to actually implement because Zach just could not fucking help himself, and he was like, Nugget! We were like, shut the fuck up.
I was trying to like see if he could just come on my lap and sit with me for the
And Jess
entire
was like,
episode.
stop. No, don't do it. Don't do it.
I'm like, don't do
Eventually
it,
I
Zach.
learned.
And
Don't
we
do
literally
it.
have to ignore Nugget for like 5 minutes until he found another spot, lay down, and then we'd be like, are we safe? Okay, let's go.
Yeah.
Like, and you could know, like, if he laid down but he wasn't settled, it's a different kind of lay down.
You could know. We knew. Like, we could
Like, he'll
already
like lay
know.
down, but then you'll see him, he goes, and you're like, wait for it, and he'll be like, no.
We're like,
He'll
he's
get
Like,
up.
all right, got it. Yeah.
This is
So
Nugget right
funny,
here.
man.
Oh, God, I'm excited.
I guess I could say that you guys are both the characters that you are in the show. Like, it's not really characters. you
Yeah.
know?
Oh, that's a great point. Like, I guess tell our audience, tell the brothers a little bit like what it's like for you behind the scenes with us.
Yeah.
I mean, like the whole brothers thing, like all this stuff, like there's a lot of shit that was not planned. Like these things happened organically because you guys are genuinely best friends. Like this is real life. Like these guys didn't become best friends because it's like, oh, your character is like a good foil for my character. Like, no,
Yeah.
this is really how it is. Like Liv is really the one that does the water stuff, and Jess is really the whiskey. Like, it's as simple as that. And they both like inject a little bit of that into each other's lives. That's what I think the fun of it is. But you guys, this is not a character. And you guys tuning in, like you're tuning into these two individuals. You're not tuning into like exactly like two written characters or anything. The planning is more just to make sure that they can get across information and like get across subjects without diluting it too much. You know what I mean? That's
and
all it really
rambling.
is.
Yeah. I mean, by no means have we ever like written something and like a certain like perspective or out, like we write from the like the heart. We're not trying to be anything that we're not. We don't try to play up any sort of like facade or not, no part of it's an act. It's literally like this. If you fucking met us on the street, like we'd be the exact
you'd get the same shit. Yeah. And I think at first it took us a while to be like, because obviously this is a more entertaining like side of our personalities. Like I know for sure, like when I'm talking to Tyler, I'm not so animated and like so much energy. I'm like, not on crack. But that is like, that's our like show side, but it's still like genuine to who we are as people. Like as soon as we do cut, we're still like, I'm very still water, just still very whiskey. And like, even as far as our friendship, like Zach has seen us camera off. Like, he's been in some uncomfortable like moments with us where we're like kind of just having our back and forth bickering or whatever you want to call it, but kind of just like having really honest
like
conversations. And like, sometimes it's not always comfortable for a third person to witness because it's a little tense, but it
happens all the time.
And we didn't give a fuck.
Oh yeah, no, this happens. And like,
we're just like, go.
Yeah, we're like, let us just work through this really quick. Like we're fine.
Like, and if I felt like I was hearing you guys like repeat something, I'll be like, guys, like you're saying the same thing. Like, let's be be clear here. Yeah.
He was like our mediator.
Yeah.
Therapist. I'd be like,
but
Jessica, how did that make you feel?
Yeah, all the shit we talk on the show about being transparent with each other and having those hard conversations, like Zach has seen a lot of those.
With my eyes
and ears,
raw
and ears, not on the
shit.
screen.
Not to mention like fucking Zach's been there through multiple mental breakdowns like of ours. Like there's been times that either during an episode, after an episode, before an episode, like we just weren't feeling like our best. And there's definitely been some times where like I've just had to like have a good little cry and then get to it. Like that's the reality of it.
Yeah, there's the stuff that the show must go on, and we always kind of like sorted everything out between us. And I don't know, it was fun. Like there was always like, we always made it fun in the end. Like no matter what stress happened, no matter what, like
Yeah.
we always found a way to keep it positive and keep each other motivated.
And like, and look out for each other too. I personally have learned a lot about like, you know, team building, not building, but like just being a team member and like taking one for the team and looking out for each other and having each other's backs and, you know, being generous when it counts and not
taking accountability and
taking
keeping
accountability. Yeah. And like the thing is when you're working with others and it's like such a tightly knitted like type of project like this, I feel like details really matter and like little things go a long way, you know? And that's something we've all, like the three of us have all really been really good about, is like just looking out for each other in that way.
Boom, right there. That's like the moral of this whole segment right here is like, don't forget about the people behind the project when you're working on a team.
Absolutely. Like I feel like you said, like a lot of people when it's a project like this, you see things turn sour and you see people like who were best friends start to resent each other, and it's because like they're not transparent with each other. It's because they don't take accountability for their actions. They don't hold their partners accountable, and they don't respect their friends as people and as humans, not just as business partners. Because like, yeah, you both are my business partners, but like I would never treat you as if you weren't my friend or family.
Yeah, it also helps that the three of us are in the business and we know what it's like to be dicked around.
Very true.
You know,
or just all the little things that we deal with.
That totally helps, like, because we know what it's like to be on both ends of the spectrum. So like when we feel underpaid or underappreciated, like that's something that we never want to make someone else feel. And I think that's helped so much because we just understand, you know, we just understand both sides of the spectrum there.
And not even in the aspect of like underpaying, but just like being respectful of someone's time, of someone's energy, of their creative
mental health, even
mental health,
you know,
like respecting their outlook, respecting their insight, like that's huge. And I feel like it's absolutely played a part in this podcast.
Yep, for sure.
Yeah, and Zach's been so instrumental. Like we literally could not have done this show without him. Like he's been you've been so instrumental to our success and us lifting the show off the ground and getting it running, and just you couldn't have done it without you, brother.
I'm happy to have been the one to help because I think you guys were going to succeed regardless, but I'm glad it was me.
Yes, us too.
Love you, PD.
Whiskey and water for life. Gang, gang. Like, I should not throw up gang signs.
Just growing up, we can.
I stay doing this.
Yeah, maybe we should.
West Coast. This is just like like a territorial thing, but we can just whiskey and water.
She goes to gang signs.
I'm like,
I do this every episode.
All right. Well, thank you, PD. We appreciate you so much for hopping on with us.
Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, of course. We can't wait to see you again and have a nice colada shot and just fucking shoot the shit and catch up on life. Yeah, we're gonna hop back into our own thing, but thank you, PD. We love you.
We love you.
Peace out, guys. We love you. I don't know why I said we love. I love you.
We love you.
Zach and PD.
Yeah, both of my alter egos.
All right, PD out. Bye. All right, so that was our PD joining us.
A little treat for y'all, having podcast daddy come on.
We wanted him to be a guest, like we kept saying it and kept saying it, so we figured this was the perfect opportunity. And God, it made me like, we miss him. We've had like moments like, dude, we've had so many times like in these past few months where we're like, I miss Zach. Like we got used to seeing each other like all the fucking time,
like once a week.
Yeah, so I'm so excited to like hop back into that. I think three people is safe now, and I'm just really looking forward to that.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, guys, I mean that just about wraps things up. I feel like we kind of pulled the curtain back a little bit, gave you guys a behind the scenes of what goes on. You know, it's like I said a little bit earlier, it's not just like we like sit down. Yeah, we don't sit down and we're like, okay, let's talk for an hour and see what comes out. You know, there is, although it does sound like that, there is some preparation behind this. We want to make sure we are providing as much value as we really can to you guys, and not just having like a pointless conversation, really, because we do that all the time, just ourselves.
Literally. And I was gonna say, like, you know, we do sit down and like do like kind of like pre-production to the episodes, and like sit down and we like write an outline, and when we have guests we do like a flow chart so that we all kind of understand where the conversation is going. And of course, like we deviate from that here and there, and
we let ourselves too, like we point out the way our writing structure works. Sorry to interrupt you. We just make sure we write down all the points that we want to make, and then we leave room for...
You're like, sorry for interrupting you. I'm like, our entire podcast is us interrupting each other. But you feel bad? No, I'm kidding.
I do.
Like, that's what
at the end of season 3.
But
what was that?
I was kidding because I was like, sorry.
Gotcha. At the end of season 3, I finally feel bad.
You know, and it's not, you don't have to feel bad. Like, you know, we're having, it's just funny.
That's what we're doing.
Like, we're literally constantly just interrupting each other. But, what were you saying?
I was saying,
I cut you off.
I know, right? I was just saying, you know, there is a lot of freedom in our conversations. I don't want you guys to think that we like have everything pre-written out, because a lot of it is just on the fly, and just wherever we feel inspired, you know, we let the conversation take us there. But we definitely do, like, we do write an outline, and our priority is like what's going to be valuable to our listeners. And that's kind of how we write the show. That's completely what we base the like, content around.
It's like, if this isn't entertaining or inspiring, like,
there's no point. Yeah. And that's a question we ask ourselves too, just so you guys know. It's like, when we're in the writing process, when we're like throwing ideas out there and just having kind of like thought exercises and word vomit pretty much, you know, that's what we'll ask ourselves. We're like, is this either A, entertaining, or B, inspiring?
Yeah, and if it's not, scratch. And that's not to say that we haven't... Listen, we know that everything that we say isn't entertaining or inspiring, but you know, that's what we go for.
There's a lot of bullshit in between too, but sometimes that's fun.
And I mean, like, we've learned the hard way that like outlines are just how we need to operate, like,
because we've tried. We're like, yeah, let's just be more casual about it. Literally film an entire episode, and we're like, we can't
release this.
We can't put that out.
Yeah, we've scratched like a few episodes in the past, and we've learned the hard way, because it sucks, because it's like that was like kind of in the past when we had like Zach here too. So it's like, we don't want to waste Zach's time. We don't want to waste our time. So we really just try to make it as efficient as possible.
And also, I think we hold ourselves at really high, you know, like I
know the podcast might not seem like it.
Yeah, literally.
Kidding.
No, I think we got to give ourselves a pat on the back. Even before we started this episode, I was like, okay, last season of season 3, like, let's give ourselves a pat on the back. You know, we made something from scratch. We're so proud of it. We're so proud of the audience that we've built. You know, you guys are loyal. You show up every week, and like, it's incredible. Yeah, it's incredible. And just know we're showing up for you guys. We really hold this show on really high on our priority. It's like we give it everything.
And in our hearts. Like,
totally. And we only put quality out there. Like, we really, that's, like you said, we've scratched episodes that we were just like, we can do better. We can serve our audience better. Like, and we have no problem doing that, just because, you know, it's what we care about. It's our little baby.
Like, we're just and not only like, we're constantly asking ourselves how we can be better, how we can do better, how we can provide more value, how we can be the best versions of ourselves, not even in the podcast, but like, so that we can offer more.
Yeah, and show up for you guys and this show. And that's why it is so nice. Sorry, excuse me. That's why it's so nice hearing from you guys, because, you know, maybe after you hear like how much we really put into this, you'll be more receptive to sharing with a friend or posting in your stories, because we see that, and like that's our payment. Like,
I mean, even subscribing and leaving a rating is huge.
Yeah, like, yeah. It means
if I'm having a bad day, I'll just go through our reviews. So I'm like, wow.
If I need to remind myself of on that bitch. I just, just scroll through the reviews. Yeah. I mean,
Unless you come across that one review where the guy was like, Olivia sounds like she has a cold all the time.
yeah, I love that
But
guy.
aside from that guy.
Sending him love.
Yeah. Right.
But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it, guys. This is the end of season 3. We're not leaving just yet. We have a fun tea time game, of course, for you guys. But, we would love if you guys could give us, if you enjoy this show, if you show up every week, but you're silently listening, we would love for you to write a review for us. It motivates us so much to keep this going, to keep investing our time, energy, and money into this. And we're excited to keep the ball rolling. I think season 4 is going to have some fun things in store.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one, guys. We're going to be taking this time, like I said, to regroup, reflect, recuperate, and come back better than ever.
Better than ever.
All right.
Okay.
So let's get into the tea time game.
Shall we? Tea time games. Cheers. Wait, also, guys, is it too late to do a pro tip? You tell me.
I was just thinking about that. I mean,
fuck it. Let's throw it in.
What's the pro tip? I think I
got
it
it
down the other day. Oh, you have one?
Ready? I'm just going to throw it out there. We're not stopping, baby. Let's go.
Do it.
Okay, here we go. Here's your pro tip. Open up a Roth IRA account.
She would.
That's my pro tip.
I'm like, do this on the dick.
Whiskey and water, baby.
No, honestly, though, guys, open up a Roth IRA. I did it too.
I made Tyler do it.
I don't know if I told you guys yet, but like I bought stock in Tesla and Disney, and I bought stock in I bought them both when quarantine first hit, which I don't know if it's kind of shitty or not. Is that bad? I don't know. Well, I did it anyway.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you. I have a few things too, and I'm just like, meh. I don't really know what I'm doing, but it's there.
I've made back 200% on both, so
nice.
We love that for me.
Love that for you. But guys, just look into it. Roth IRA is the best type of retirement account you can open. My bank is Fidelity. It's compound interest and it's non-taxable, so it's all money that you will have in 50 years that will not be
that's compounding
taxed. Yeah, that won't be taxed.
And the sooner you do it, the better. Like the younger you are, trust me, is the better.
Like literally the difference between starting at 20 and 23 is like probably I can't.
I think it's like 100K.
No, not 100K. I'm saying it's in like the tens of thousands of a difference. Like a few years makes a big difference. So if we could encourage anything, no, it's definitely like not 100K, but it's a lot because that's how compound interest works.
They're
and
not gonna look it up.
We won't geek on you. Just do it. Roth IRA. Trust me, you won't regret it. Better than a 401k. Better than whatever the fuck you're doing with your company. And okay, on to tea time games. Okay, for this game, we are doing an Instagram filter edition.
Clink.
Oh, okay, clink. Tea time game. Okay, so first let's do the gibberish filter.
Yeah.
Okay, so we are doing you guys, if you're on Instagram, you might live under the rock. That's fine. Under the rock. Dwayne Johnson. You might live under a rock, but there's the gibberish filter that we're going to do. And then like letter, name by letter game that we're going to do.
Okay, let's see. I'm doing the hands-free one, by the way.
Oh, okay.
Hug cup culture. Hip hop culture.
Yes, good job.
Let's see. Sorry, it has to count down. Oh, hook up culture, not hip hop culture.
Oh, whips. Can't take her on the streets. 8-hole tent tournament. 8-hole tent tournament. Something tournament. Adult entertainment.
Okay, let's see. Hint, turn, ed rolls. Hint, turn, ed rolls. Hint, turn, ed roll. Hint, turn, ed rolls. Internet trolls.
Internet trolls. I feel like it helps if you say it in an accent.
Dude, that's what I read or saw somewhere.
Okay, ready? I'm gonna try an accent because it is gibberish. Sats donuts spurad hits. Sats donuts spur. I 8 hit. Sats donuts. You say it, don't spray it. These are
trying
hard.
To something.
These are hard.
Let's move on to the other one.
Okay. We are going to do
name by letter.
Name by letter. You go.
Okay. We landed on letter G. Plant. Plant that starts with G. Fuck, I have no idea.
Grape.
Grape's not a plant. That's
Yeah,
definitely
it
not a plant.
is.
The grape is not a plant. It's a fruit.
Well,
Movie.
No,
The
but
Great Gatsby.
a grape tree or a grape
And
bush.
name Greg. Okay,
Grapevine.
grapevine. I guess that's a plant.
It is.
Your turn.
Okay. Name by letter. I have M. Plant.
Monstera.
Montserrat. Celebrity. Miley Cyrus. Name Miley. Boo. Boring.
No, I need another name.
Michael.
Good for you.
Go.
It's stupid that they put celebrity and fucking name next to each other.
Yeah.
Like, duh.
Yeah.
Name by letter E. Animal, elephant, brand. Etnies.
What?
Do you guys remember Etnies?
No.
They're like the skate shoe brand that I wore in like middle school. Etnies.
Oh my god, yes. The like skater boy.
Yes.
Oh my
I was
god,
all about
my
that
sister
shit.
had a pair.
And then city. What's a city that starts with E?
E. Oh my god, I don't know.
Edgerton.
Edgewater? Is that a city?
Yeah, City of Edgewater. Good shit.
Okay. Name by letter. E. Animal. What?
Nope. Next.
Name by letter S. Animal. Snake. Brand. Sasky collection. Name.
Okay. Are you okay?
That was good. Killed that.
Company. Okay, let's see what we're getting here. A. Animal movie city. A for animal anteater movie. Starts with A.
Oh, I don't know. I'm not a movie person.
Fuck.
Okay, this is not fun. We need to do something else. Oh wait,
You
are you
going
going
first?
first? Yeah, I am. You
Okay.
sure noodle. You sure noodle.
You sure noodle.
You sure noodle. You sure noodle. Use your noodle. Use your noodle. That shit no one would say.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
Go.
God. Okay, let's see.
These are hard.
Shallow shods. Shallow shods. Shallow shods.
Shallow shods. Shallow shods.
Jello shots.
Jello shots? But like,
Who says this
no.
shit?
I need like context.
Right?
I'm gonna try a different guess. Because like it's not fun if we actually
Hai
can't.
su lip hen da nu. I sleep in the nude. I think. Let's see. I sleep in nude. I got that right.
Nice. Okay, should I keep trying?
Yeah.
Okay. Get cold feet. Get cold feet. Okay. Get cold lead feet. Get cold feet, bitch.
Was it right?
Yeah.
Okay.
It hurt
Imagine it was
us.
like something entirely different. Are you not in Thai?
You're
T-range.
screaming. You are screaming.
I'm not. Okay, I'm just trying to figure out. And the question is, are you not entertained?
Are you not entertained by your screaming? No, I'm not.
I'm not screaming. I'm just excited.
Okay. Ready? Here we go. High tank a shard Ted. High tank a shard Ted.
I think I sharded.
I think I sharded. Oh shit.
Wait, hear me out. We
Okay.
should try to see each other's. Like
How?
we should try to decipher each other's.
Guess each other's? Yeah, I've been trying.
New foam hoodies.
New phone who dis?
Love that. Love that for us.
Okay. Steel
Okay.
moles is check. Steel moles is check. Steel moles is check. Steel moles is check. Steel moles is check. Stimulus check!
No way.
Hey!
Huh.
Make it rain.
That's interesting. I'm gonna do one now. Visa card.
Visa card. I feel like as soon as we said I can't get any of these, we started to get all of them. Okay, here we go. Let's see.
Take some brain power.
Hug cup culture. Hug cup culture. Hug.
That's the one.
What is it?
Hookup culture.
Hook up. Okay.
Remember I said hip hop culture earlier?
Yeah, I'm gonna do another one. Hugh only live once. You only live once, bitch.
Jimmy Fallon.
Jimmy Fallon.
Fallon.
Jimmy Fallon. Fallen.
Jimmy's Fallon.
Jimmy Fallon downstairs.
All right, I think that we've done enough here.
Yes. Okay. Well, guys, that was tea time. Thank you
tea time game.
so much for hanging in with us, riding out with us. Season 3. We got season 4 around the corner. We're taking a hiatus week next week, per usual. Guys, help us out, brothers. If you enjoy this episode, share it on your stories, tag us, share it with friend. Share it with friend. Share it with a friend or two who you know would enjoy our show and just listen to it and benefit from it. And thank you for riding with us. We love the brothers.
We love you guys. And we'll see you back for season 4.
Stay safe. We love you. Open up that Roth IRA. Bye, brothers. Bye.